Good evening, everybody. This is Cinnamon Noir.
And this is the Ramen Shaman.
Welcome back to Deltarune. We have run across a bake sale, which is, of course, a tradition at this point. Only 2 games, but it's a tradition.
True.
So there's 3 different characters here. Each one has a different bake sale. These are all just healing items. Yeah?
Speaking of, now I'm remembering, I liked the little trick with the spider donut.
Mm-hmm. That was pretty clever. I like that kind of brick joke approach to design where you can get something early on that turns out to be useful. Even though many things that happen in the early part of Undertale seem completely useless. I'd say about half of them really are, and the other half are something clever later on. So yeah, basically, all proceeds from the sale of stuff that we buy from them will go towards kicking our ass. So I decide not to buy anything from them.
Fair enough.
Oh, here's an interesting character. One that I think was put in to be sort of proactive. This character mostly seems like it would have utility for the full game. You do not... I'm not even sure if you find anything broken in this. There might be one thing. But presumably this character will have functionality when this becomes a full game. If this becomes a full game. Personally, I'm treating this like it's just its own game. That's the way I like to think of it. Even if they do make a game out of this, it'll probably take 4 or 5 years. So don't get your hopes up, Undertale fans.
Really? I don't know.
Well, it doesn't seem like he has a much bigger team. That's part of it.
True.
He's still doing this mostly himself.
How long did Undertale take to develop?
Undertale was originally announced, I believe, in like, what was it, 2011? Something like that? Might have been a bit later. But it took a minimum of 2 years for him to make.
Well, that said, I wonder how much he's already done.
Hard to say, you know?
Because he's had he's had since 2015, right?
Technically, there's been ports, there's been other stuff like that. And I'd be reluctant to say that Toby Fox is the kind of guy who would be working on a game full-time. He doesn't seem like that kind of person to me at all.
I mean, I'm just thinking, like, he's probably had a lot more of a head start on
Yeah.
whatever actual.
This says, Wikipedia says Undertale was developed over 32 months. Which, you know, basically just short of 3 years. So this is an interesting segment. I kind of like this. You have these little paper cutout dolls. And you gotta make sure to avoid them, because they'll hit you. There are no actual enemies in the game that look like this.
I guess the hardest to indicate who you have to worry about getting hit.
That's exactly what it is. It's your hitbox. And the reason that you become paler is to indicate that it doesn't matter if your head hits these guys, it's the heart that matters. No, this whole idea of overworld stuff that can damage you is actually really clever. I appreciate the elaboration on the original Undertale. Although it could go much, much further, and I presume if this becomes a real game, that's what's going to happen. Yeah. So
Well,
Lancer's...
kind of did at certain parts in Undertale.
Yeah. Anyway, Lancer's pretending to be just a cute little boy, but he's wearing a mustache because, you know, when you're in disguise, you wear a mustache. That reminds me of an old Stan Freberg joke where he was parodying Little Red Riding Hood, and someone said, "You don't look anything like my grandma, you forgot about the mustache." And the guy goes, "I don't even have a mustache." And he goes, "Yeah, but grandma does." Oh, so, Lancer's giving us a chance to create a machine to thrash our own ass.
Okay, then.
So yeah, we get to decide what this thing is going to look like. And I'll bet it'll be just as relevant and, like, it'll matter just as much as when we picked our character at the beginning of the game.
Clearly.
Oh, I also like how this has various attributes, like this is like a Pokemon popularity contest or something. And the last one is guns, with an apostrophe. That's not an adjective. This is just Toby Fox being deliberately silly.
In the possession of a gun.
Yeah, I guess so. This thing is definitely very guns, the way I've designed it. It's about the gunsest thing I've ever designed. No, but I wanted to make this thing look like an enemy from Yoshi's Island, because I realized that I could start making it look like this, and that's what I ended up doing. It looks like a goon.
Yeah.
It also looks a little like a goon in the Something Awful sense, but you know. Anyway. So there we go. That's the monster. Presumably, Lancer is going to build this thing. Although he has no work ethic, so God knows if he ever actually will. And Susie still has a twig in her hair. Yeah, we were entirely fooled by that mustache. It totally made me think you were a little boy.
Okay.
That happened.
Yeah, that's pretty much my response.
Overall, I'll say it's nice to know Susie found a place where she fits in.
Fits in.
That bush. Okay, here's a curious thing. I don't think this ever turns into an encounter, but it is trying to, damage you. This is similar to what Undyne tried to do.
Yeah, that's what I was actually thinking of.
But in that, does she actually damage you, or does it start a random battle with something? I'm not sure which one it is.
It starts a random battle.
That's what I figured.
They had a mechanic to have it damage you in the overworld.
Mm-hmm. I believe this still uses Game Maker, not entirely sure, but if it does, it's a more elaborate version of it. Anyway, that sign above us mentions that you need to make it darker and darker by moving around this in order to see something that is there. And you can see it while you're inside the circle. It was right up there. So it was an invisible tree with an invisible switch in it that opens up the path.
If you knew where the switch was, could you have just run to it?
I do not know, since I've only played this game through once. By the way, just, for reference, I did play this through in a single sitting. This was a blind playthrough. And, as an indicator of how easy it is, I didn't kill anybody. So here's Susie and Lancer taking a well-deserved break from doing nothing. And just, using these poor serfs to fan them.
They should make them, give them healed grapes as well.
Mm-hmm. I like how these guys have such a, blasé attitude toward Lancer. Yeah, I know he's the prince, but he's so weird and lazy. And Ralsei's no criticizing them for not being proactive about creating that machine to kill us. Ralsei, there's such a thing as being too helpful. Don't know if you've heard of that.
Yeah.
Oh, so there's a maze in the forest ahead. By the way, I think the way he put that, which was beware the forest maze, was deliberately stilted, because that's the name of a music track from Super Mario RPG. I'm wrong, it just occurred to me. It's called Beware the Forest's Mushrooms. But that level is called the Forest Maze in Super Mario RPG, so... The idea of having that kind of maze is fairly well established. Anyway, we followed Lancer, and it turns out he has no idea where he's going. So actually, to get out of this, we have to take the opposite path where he goes. Because he always unerringly picks the wrong one. And now Susie's you've just let Lancer go off alone? What if something bad happens to him? Even though all the bad guys basically work for him, so what could happen?
Yeah. I like that she's going, kind of tsundere for him.
Exactly. That's the funny thing, is that because he appreciates her meanness, she's, starting to like him.
It's not like I like you or anything.
Baka. No, the relationship between Susie and Lancer is my favorite part of this game, and this demo, I should say, and it actually is used fairly well. You might argue that it's actually the center of the story. Certainly Chris isn't, since Chris has no personality at all. And Ralsei doesn't really undergo character growth. Oh, jeez. That's like the lol face version of the thing we designed.
Yes.
You mad, bro? Oh my gosh, it exploded itself. Now what? Okay, so crush us into dust already, man.
Yeah, I would say the trees should probably get that treatment more than us, but
They're not even trying. So, no, Susie's just gonna kill us. And Lancer gets his flaming bike again. So again, your choice doesn't matter. I think every time Susie gives anyone a choice in this, she doesn't let them finish.
Well, her sparing you would be out of character.
That's true. So instead, we're going to have to spare her. Or rather, we're going to have to spare Lancer. Because Susie's too much of a jerk to listen to us, but Lancer is very impressionable. I don't know if you've noticed. Lancer basically does what almost anyone tells him to. So, let's attack them with logic. And also, he's very good at that.
Yeah.
It's not affecting Susie at all, but Lancer is starting to come around. I think we've discovered that he is definitely the weak link in their chain, so we ought to get at him first. At least taking him off the field, Susie won't be able to do as much damage. Mm-hmm. So now this is the kicker from Ralsei. Ralsei is gonna do things for them, if they stop fighting. Susie's just throwing axes all over the place. Lancer's not even participating at this point. I think we've gotten to him. So I try to pacify him. Obviously that's not going to work yet, but... the decisive kindness.
Susie blocked us that way.
That's right. So Susie's going to cover Lancer's ears. So that we can't convince Lancer.
Ew.
Which is a pretty... I think that's Lancer's head getting squished slightly.
Oh. She's wrapping up her thesis.
Yep. We're gonna need to get Susie out of the picture if Lancer's gonna listen to us. But how can we do that, I wonder? Let's see here. Is there an act thing we can do? Oh, remember what singing did earlier when we did it on the enemies?
Oh, yeah.
It put Susie to sleep, too.
Ironically, if she covered her own ears.
That's right. She was too busy covering his.
Well, she isn't.
So now we can convince Lancer because Susie's not there to block himself. Ralsei does it really quickly, because what if Susie wakes up?
And manages to break the sound barrier getting over there.
Yeah, I think that's the idea. Oh, no, Lancer's gone soft. He can't hurt us anymore. Battle over. We won by wimping out. Sure, whatever.
Not? We are?
Yeah, we're gonna let her back in.
Because, as we've established, she's kind of a huge liability.
She is, but we can handle it. And she's sick of being our enemy, so she can be our friend again. That's how true friendship works. So Lancer's sad because he's going to be all alone, but there's an easy way around that, which is, why doesn't he join us too? That's the deal breaker. Monogram track jackets. Gotta have that. Varsity Club.
Wait, what the hell?
So that's Lancer's real face. when Deltarune first came out, there were like a million videos saying, Lancer, real face reaction. And it kind of justifies the hype, because his real face is weird.
Yes, it is.
For one thing, it makes him look a lot less fat than his sprite makes him look. Like, the face looks almost like a Prince Charming kind of thing. Which, a little weird. I don't quite get it, what Toby Fox was going for there, but... I mean, he doesn't even necessarily do the art. I think Temmie does all the art, but...
Oh, well, whatever.
I think that's the last time you see his face, too. Yeah, so Lancer's never had a friend before.
That's not entirely shocking.
Not even remotely. He's basically kind of autistic, but...
I'm not sure... Although, I guess a number of the characters are written... with some kind of... Ralsei is the one who seems like they might... who might have some sort of, might be somewhere on the autism spectrum.
Maybe, I don't know.
I'm not sure about Lancer.
Lancer's just a goofball. Oh, so
Susie's
hungry.
Seems kind of mean.
Yeah, pretty much. So, Lancer's gonna use a special power to help Susie get up there. Here goes. Bend over. That's his real name, is Bendover. So I like how he calls it stool form, F-O-R-M-E, which I think is a sly reference to Pokemon, where like Shaman and others will have a blank form that's spelled that way. Which is about the most pretentious thing Pokemon has ever done. So if Toby Fox is making fun of them for that, well done, sir.
Fair enough.
Stool form. Sometimes it does seem like he's just trying to create memes. Mm-hmm. So they were about to play a really slow thing about getting the candy. And Susie put the kibosh on that.
Fair enough.
And Lancer, I thought Lancer was hiding all of a sudden, but no, it's just that he's following along the middle of our party. It's a fruit that tastes like friendship. Which is basically sugar. Based on Toby Fox, I definitely think friendship is like sugar. It will rot your teeth and make your emotional state go out of control.
A little bit. There's... The pacifist ending is a little bit mawkish.
So, by the way, you remember how Ralsei said one of the characters we needed to have along was a prince from the dark? I think Ralsei said that was him, but Lancer is also a prince and a darkner, so who's to say? Maybe we don't need Ralsei. We do need Susie, because it said monster. And odd as it may seem from the sprites, she is the only monster on screen right now. I don't know what darkners are supposed to be. They're not humans per se, but they seem like they're more like humans than monsters. They're like alternate dimension humans, whereas monsters are a separate race. There's no backing that up, but then again, that's true of a lot of things in this game. So I'm going to go with my headcanon, in the absence of real canon. So that's the fountain, the one we're supposed to close off. Lancer looked a little uncertain there for a moment. I wonder how committed he really is to our team. I mean, he did just join like 2 minutes ago.
Does he not want to go home?
Well, he's his home. He doesn't seem entirely convinced. Because if you think about it, his dad is the one who sent him out to fight us. Which means if we're going to close off that fountain, we will probably have to fight his dad. Oh. Oh, man. What a twist. Why is Lancer acting weird? Yeah, great question. He's never acted weird before.
Weirder, I guess.
So I'm going to go in the opposite direction just to screw up the plot, but no, I can't. I guess Chris doesn't want to. So this is an extended sort of platforming segment. It's kind of cool. You have to avoid the constant slings and arrows being thrown at you here. And I was pretty sure you could get through all this just by running straight to the right, but that's not entirely true.
No.
I suffer a little bit from my dogmatic belief in that. But you do get pretty damn close just by running straight. Anyway, this is easy. Much easier than the last screen.
Yeah.
Come on, Lancer. Dang it. Oh. He sold us out.
Flowey?
That's my best Flowey laugh. I know it's not very good. Anyway, so yeah, we're thrown in jail. But not punished. We're just going to stay here forever.
That's a fine how do you do.
Who has used that phrase in the last century? Seriously. And I thought I was old-fashioned.
Yeah, I mean, I think even in the UK, that would get you some funny looks.
Yeah. Anyway, having now been thrown in prison, what are we going to do next? Find out on the next episode of Deltarune. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.